All right, y'all. Welcome back to Dev Spot Podcast here with another episode. Here by myself today. Got a few topics I want to touch on before the playoffs start. I'm going to have my guys on to get in more in depth into the whole breakdown of the offs and things like that. So we just got a few things we got to touch on. Let's get right into it. The playoffs is starting and there's somebody missing. My boy Luka will not be in the playoffs this year. Tragic. Everybody that know me know Luka, my favorite player currently in the league. So I've been taking a lot of heat for this. It's all good. Listen, I could take the easy way out here and be like, oh, it's Kyrie fault. That's what everybody would do. You know what I'm saying? Because Kyrie an easy target because everybody blame Kyrie. But I honestly got to tell y'all, I do not feel like this is Kyrie's fault at all. I felt like Kyrie came in and did what he was supposed to do. He came in, he was getting buckets. He was a good locker room guy. The young guys like him. He was helping Hardy. He seemed to be blending in fine. Like, I don't see anything that really was too much on him or the way he played. I would have to go with Luka. I'm saying, and like I said, Luka, my favorite player. But when you're a top five player, which I feel Luka is a top five player, you have to make the offs. You have to find a way to get your team in, especially when, even though we'll get into the roster in a second, but when your team is that close and it's like you lose back-to-back games to the Hornets, you lose a 2-point game to Atlanta, you lose like all of these close games to where you have a shot to get in and you don't, that got to be on your best player. They lost, I think, either 14 or 15 games that came down to like the clutch last possession or whatever. You cannot lose that many games when you have a player of that caliber. So to me, it's a bad thing that they missed the offs, and I'm sick about it. But when Luka is a generational talent, but he also has some flaws in his game. Everybody knows that. That's fine. But when you've been so good at something for so long, and it's like, oh, I'm killing. I just got to the Western Conference Finals. I'm averaging 33 points a game. I've been first team damn near every year but my rookie season. It's hard to really work on what your flaws are when you're excelling, doing things not the right way all the time. So that's why I feel like this is like gonna knock him back a little bit. It's gonna be a bump to his ego, and that's what he need. I feel like to take that next step to realistically enter the legendary era or the legendary bracket that he on this track to enter. He just got to take a step back. Okay, say he got to lose a little bit more weight. He got to become a little more active on defense, and he got to become a little bit better leader. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got to become an overall better basketball player. Like, the talent is there, the skill set is there. Him and Kyrie, obviously, like, it didn't work out right away. I personally believe they should bring Kyrie Irving back because what else is what are the better options? I feel like now with a whole training camp and a whole offseason, Luka understanding a little bit more, he got to play a little bit better off ball and all of those things. I think that they could work a little bit better. Now, do they have to do a few things to the roster? Of course. They need a real big, not just a big that's like, oh, well, Dwight Powell, he just filling in minutes catching live. JaVale McGee, who's almost at the end of his career. They need somebody like a Clint Capella, who, if you watched the game against my Heat the other day, he dominated them. They need somebody like that that can protect the rim and can rebound because they don't have that. Anytime somebody want to get to the bucket against the Mavs, they get there. They perimeter defense ain't that good, and then they have nobody on the back end to watch the basket. So if you look at even that Atlanta game, every time the Mavs made a run or every time the Mavs took a little lead, it was just like, okay, get a ball person, ISO, and it was to the rack to get a bucket to either take the lead back or to cut the Mavs momentum. So you got to get that settled. They got to get a wing defender. I don't know if they're gonna do that in the draft. I feel like, in my personal, now that they have a top 10 pick, I would look at for a wing in the draft. Hopefully, somebody like a Cam fall. I mean, obviously, I don't think he's gonna fall to 10, but if he do, that'd be great. They need a wing in the draft, and I would look for a vet big to kind of come and take away some of that burden. But Luka next year is a big year. It's hard. Like, for me, this is his one like mess up. Like, Luka's done everything he's supposed to do since he came in the league. So to me, he's still a top 5 player. But if they don't make substantial growth next year, then it's gonna be a different conversation. But to me, this like I said, this is bad. We gotta live with this. I've been getting roasted and cooked for like the last week, so it is what it is. Hopefully they right their wrongs. Mark Cuban and Nico Harrison, they got to get it together because it's like you make the Kyrie trade, but then I said this right after the trade deadline on the pod, you get Kyrie, but then you don't get a big of any sort. So it's like it doesn't really did it really take us to where we needed to be? And then obviously the answer is no. So get a big. They need another wing. Luka keep taking steps, and Kyrie just come back and do what you do. Like I feel like if Kyrie come back and do exactly what he did this year, they'd be fine. Luka the one need to make changes to his game. J Kidd need to obviously play Hardy more, keep letting him develop. Like he's a young 19-year-old kid. He gonna get in and he gonna put up shots. Some of his shots might not be good. That don't mean that you don't play him. You gotta keep him out there and just let him work through it. It'll be okay. We got to find, I don't know if Christian Woods, like I said, if we could bring somebody like Clint Capella, bringing Christian Woods back would make sense. But if we can't, I don't see bringing him back making sense because he literally can't play defense at all. And he's one of the only guys on the team that tries on defense. So that makes it even worse that he's trying and putting in effort and still getting cooked as bad as he get cooked. So the Mavs got a lot of questions this offseason. Luka got a lot. He got a lot of soul searching, looking in the mirror. Hey, man, this is happened to the best of them. Kobe missed the playoffs in his prime. Brian missed the playoffs early. He just missed it. Curry missed it. Like, if you, the dog that I think you is, Luka, you're going to take this missing the playoffs, you're going to take it on the chin, and you're going to come back and you're going to dominate. Just like I expect you to. So I'm expecting you to come back and have a big year next year. I'm expecting y'all to make a good run next year. This is just something that a hiccup in the journey, man. And we just gonna have to rock through it and see where it takes us. But that's my spiel on Luka. He gets no, to me, Luka gets no excuses. He gets no, oh, well, the team wasn't that good. Oh, this and that. He missed the play-in, and he missed it by one game. So that's literally just one game out of many blows that they had where if they win that game or if they act like they got some sense and don't blow the 27-point lead to the Lakers, let's say, then they're in the playoffs. So when you have games like that, like I said, it's 100% on your best player from a player's perspective. If you want to throw the front office in as a whole, I would say it's 65% Luka fault because of how close they were to getting in. The other 35% I will put on Mark Cuban, Nico Harrison, and J Kidd for not getting a real big, and J Kidd not using the few pieces you had. You literally waited till almost all-star break to play Hardy, and you had a literal walk-in 12 to 16 points on your bench just sitting there. So, but like I said, your best player got to do it. If you're a top 5 player, you get your team to the offs. That's for sure where I stand. So I can't make no excuses for my guy. Whatever slander he get, you could ask any of my friends. I just been taking it because he deserve it. It is what it is. Moving right along, let's talk about Dame Lillard. I know we discuss him a lot on the show, but he gives us a lot of content to discuss. Listen, here we go again. Another season passed. The Blazers didn't make the playoffs again. All of this, oh well, we got some decisions to make. And Dame, listen, brother, either you gonna leave and actually really give yourself a chance to compete, or just post up and run up the bag. Every year, this is why it's so frustrating with you, because every year Dame wanna, oh well, we need to get better and we need to do this if we want to compete. Dame, you're not competing for a championship in Portland. There's no move possible to help you compete in Portland. I'm sorry. So if you want to stay there, cool, run your bag up, but do it quiet. Don't nobody want to keep hearing about, oh well, I do want to win, and I'm sure everybody want to win. Everybody in life wants to win, but do the decisions you make, are they leading to you winning? No. So don't nobody care. Stay in Portland or leave. But if you're not gonna leave, you cannot say that you truly is doing all you can to win. You can say you want to win. I'm sure you want to win. Dame is a competitor, but are you doing everything you can to win? No. So just chill. If you're gonna leave, it's okay. I know now it looked like, oh well, I done been saying for so long I'm staying, and I've been doing all of this, and I've been making people feel goofy for saying I was going to leave. So now that he wants to leave, he probably feels crazy. But like I said last year, he got to stop worrying about what the media and the fans and all of them people are talking about. Okay, Dame, you said you wanted to stay. You made fun of people for leaving. Now you want to leave. You're going to take a little backlash, but it'll be okay. People love you. You one of the only players that get passes in the league as far as the things you come up short on. So it's like, just go. Come to the Heat. Jimmy, Bam, Dame, we got action at a championship. Go to the Bucks for Drew Holiday and Milton or somebody, and you and Giannis. That's action. James Harden don't resign. Go to Philly. Action. All I'm saying is, and no, you can't guarantee yourself a ring. But the thing about sports is you have to at least put yourself in a position to win. There will never be a time in the rest of his however many years he got left, 4 or 5 years, where the Portland Trailblazers will be a top 3 or 4 team that's competing for a championship. That's over. So at your age, I think he's 32, 30, whatever, 33, whatever his age is, you at the age now where it's like you only got a few years left. So do you just want to ride out, finishing top 3 in scoring, top 2 in scoring or whatever, and getting buckets and getting records? That's cool. Do that. You already top 75. You already on your way to being a Hall of Famer. That's cool. But if you want to win, then please leave. Just go and actually give yourself a chance or stop hearing it. Everybody is tired of you doing these interviews. And I know people asking you questions, but at some point it's like, hey, man, I'm tired of answering these questions. Like, let's move on. Because what are we doing? And at some point, Dame, it's like, with me, it feels like Damian Lillard is running from the grind by staying in Portland. I feel that it is easier for him to stay in Portland and have the excuses of, oh, well, my team wasn't that good. Oh, I'm a killer though. If I get out here and get buckets, if I had the right team, I could have won, rather than actually going to a team that could compete and actually having to go through that. And then the chance you might come up short. So it's like, because everybody's saying Kyrie Irving. Oh, well, if Dame played with LeBron instead of Kyrie, the same thing would happen. Oh, if Dame played with this team instead of Curry, if he would play for the Warriors instead of Curry, they would have won. Oh, if he played with KD instead of Russ, he'd have got to the finals. Okay, we'll go to a team with somebody else, and let's see if that's true. I think that he would rather keep that narrative going of, I could get it done if I was there, rather than showing us, can he get it done? And that's cold, because I really love Damian Lillard. He one of the best players in the league to me. But what we're seeing is, because there's no way you could keep coming into the season as smart of a basketball player as Damian Lillard is and keep looking at your roster saying, oh yeah, I can compete with this. There's no way you look at Jeremy Grant and them and saying, and Anthony Simons, even though the Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant had great years, there's no way you looked at that team and said they could compete with the Bucks, or they could compete with the Celtics, or they could compete with the Warriors, or they could compete with the Suns even without KD, or they could compete with the Clippers if they're healthy. There's no way you looked at that team and said that. So if you didn't say that, everything you're not competing for championships. You come in here to get buckets and be a good team going guy and be a good vet to the young guys. Then that's fine. But I'm not trying to rebuild. Or I'm not trying to. If they trying to go young in the draft, I don't want to do that. Where else you thought Portland was gonna go? What else do they have but to go young and try to get in the draft and try to move around? What are we talking about? Like, that's the part about Dane that bothers me, because it's like he's not using common sense. That's the part that I don't like. But that's just me. You mean? But look, I ain't gonna harp too much on Dame. But that's 2 things I needed to touch on. I needed to touch on Luka. I needed to touch on Dame. Now, Zion Williamson. Listen, the Pelicans just lost a close game to OKC. They came out looking flat. They came out looking defeated. And I feel like a lot of that got to do with Zion Williamson and his comments of, I'm 100% ready to go, but I don't really feel like myself and this and that. Listen, bro, this is the NBA. This is playoff basketball. You're the best player on the team. If you can't come out and make a statement saying you're 100% healthy, but I'm not going to play, and then think your teammates is going to respond well to that. CJ McCollum made multiple statements after our best players got to play. We've only played 10 games together. We did this and that. Like, we need our best guys out there. That's a bad message to send when you got guys like CJ McCollum playing through injury. Now he finna go get surgery now that they lost. A couple of guys on the team had to play through, maybe not a serious injury as what Zion had went through or whatever, but injuries nevertheless. So it's like, if everybody else is putting they all on the line and they giving it all for the team and the best player not, that's not a good recipe moving forward. I think Zion Williamson is a generational talent. I think it's Luka, Jason Tatum, and Zion Williamson as far as best young players, in my opinion. But if you're not going to be able to be out there and you're not going to play and you're not even going to be able to give it a go, and you talking about you 100%, those are statements you can't make. I know you're still young, but you have to learn to grow and not be able to say things like that because that's not going to be good for team camaraderie. No, and they showed it. If you go back and watch that Pels OKC game first half, you can see a team that's like looked at defeated from jump. OKC smelt it and they jumped on them. Luckily, they was able to work their way back and almost won, but it's gonna be tough. And Zion, I would hate for you to not be one of the next generational talents that we see. But if this is the like, you cannot be like, oh, I got to be 100% healthy or else I ain't gonna be out there. You're never fully gonna be 100% healthy nowadays. Now that you're in the NBA, you getting hit and going 82 games and traveling here and there and coming back and playing back-to-backs and 4 and 5 nights. You're never going to be 100% healthy for an extended period of time. That's just the way it is. Brian played all them years. Tim Duncan played on coach, but they was never just 100% healthy. They always got something going on. So if you're going to be generational, if you're going to be this great player that we think you could be, it got to be more than just, oh, well, I just don't feel it all the way. We need you to be on go mode. Okay, man. Hey, man, I'm 85%. I'm 90%. We hear star players say all the time, hey, I'm only 85%, but my 85% is better than most people 100%. That's the type of mentality that you got to have if you want to be a superstar level player. Not, well, it's the plan. It's win or go home. I know, but I ain't finna play. I ain't gonna risk it, man. I'm good. That's not a leader. That's not somebody that we just gave $200 million to. That's not somebody that we want to be the face of our franchise for the next 15 years. So he got a lot growing up to do. They got a lot of decisions making. Because we'll talk about this when I bring my guys on, but I don't know what the Pels do moving forward. They don't have a true point guard. CJ McCollum do all he can, and I really like him with them, but he's not a true PG. And you don't even know what you have in BI and Zion because they can't play on. They haven't been on the court together. So your two best young stars that look like they should complement each other because you got a rim roller / dunker in Zion, and you got a perimeter phenomenon and BI that could do everything on the perimeter, could get to the hole, could shoot, could dribble, all of that. They should be a perfect fit, but we can't even decide if they're a perfect fit because they can't get healthy. Well, or Zion mainly can't get healthy. So I don't know where direction they're going. Do they blow it up? Do you look to trade Zion to see if you could get what you could get for him? Probably not. I probably not trading him either. But what are we doing with CJ? How many years left in his contract? How at his age, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was looking good at the beginning, but if Zion is not going to be there for you to fully see what you have, it could become a real dark place for them from when they looked like they was one of the better young built teams to take the next step. So Zion could either push their timeline forward 5 years, or he could knock them back a whole 10. It's really all depending on how he want to come. Now, before we get out of here, like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be too long of an episode until I get my guys on. I got to get my All-NBA teams out there. Y'all ready to go? Let's do it. First team All-NBA. It's going to be a few surprises, but here we go. De'Aaron Fox. I got him first team All-NBA. With the numbers he's putting up, with the way he's led this team, he leading the league in clutch scoring. The numbers he's putting up, 25 plus, 8 plus assists. Like, he's doing it all, and he's got a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 16, 17 years. He got him as a top 3 seed in the East. I mean, in the West, there's no way around what he's been able to do. I do feel like I get into how we got to this decision of him being first team, but I do feel like he's just as deserving as any guard in the league this year. What he's done, he's helped with Sabonis turn this organization around. I got to give him his credit. De'Aaron Fox first team for me. Then we got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shaden had a great season. I feel like he could even be in the case for most improved with the way he's played, but I think he got to get up there. He was able to get his team into the playoffs. He was able to lead his team all season. Chet got hurt before the season even started. They was a team that we thought might be going bottom 5 for Wemby, but he ended up getting them into the play-in. Gotta respect it. Then we go into the forwards. We got Giannis, who, in my opinion, got a real case for MVP this season. I feel like he's been slept on. Best record in the league, 30, 11, 5. His shooting percentage is crazy. His defense has been better this year. And that's saying something, being that he's already a defensive player of the year. I think he's been great this year. Embiid, obviously, what he's been able to do, leading the league in scoring. He got the Philadelphia with a top 3 seed in the East. Great on defense, great anchor. I love what he's bringing to the table. And lastly, for the forwards, I got Jokic. So between Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic, all three of them guys haven't been able to be first team All NBA the last few years, but they've been the top three guys in MVP. I just think it's not right for one of them to have to be second team based off of that. Now that they go on positionless and they're not doing the center no more, I think that they all three deserve to make it. That's my first team: De'Aaron Fox, Shea, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic. Second team, we got Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic easily would have been a first team All NBA player, but here at Dev Spot, like I said, even though he's my favorite player, you don't make the playoffs, you don't make first team. You cannot be a first team All NBA player and not be at least making the playoffs. Whether you lose in the first round or not, I don't care, but you got to get in. So because of that, Luka lost his spot on first team. De'Aaron Fox was able to take that spot from him. Also on this second line, Damian Lillard, who also had a great season, finished third right behind Luka in points per game. He was killing. He had a bunch of amazing games that are memorable games. And if it was for them making the off, I think Dame and Luka had the two best seasons from a guard, but they didn't make the play-in. They didn't make the playoffs. I have nothing for you. I can't do it. Sorry. Second team. Then we have Tatum. Now, listen, this is going to be the one that's probably the most confusing. I know Tatum for half the season was one of the leaders for MVP. Boston been playing great, but I do feel like it'd be too many games where Tatum just decided to take off and it's like, oh, JB, you got it, or this player got it. And I just think when you look at the forwards, Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic, there's no way that we can make a case that he's over one of those three guys. Is he first caliber? Did he have a first caliber first All NBA type season? Of course. But it's just that tough this season with the forwards. There was no way for me to get him up there. Julius Randle, once again, he took a little step back last year, but he back to what he was on the year before. He got the Knicks to a top 5. He's shooting on 40% for three. He's scoring. He assisting. He leading the team along with Brunson. Whatever you need from Randall, he's been doing. He got to be second team. And then Sabonis, like I mentioned earlier with De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis came and he brought new light to this team. He helped turn the team that had been to the playoffs in that long and helped them turn them into a top 3 seed. Can't do nothing but respect it. Other than Nikola Jokic this year, he's been Mr. Triple-Double. He's 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. 18 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists. Like I'm saying, it's been consistent. He's been locked in every game. And between him and Fox, they have really turned the culture around in Sacramento, and that's amazing to see. So you got to get his love. Second team for me. Moving down to third team, we got James Harden. Now, a lot of people have been sleeping on James Harden this year for whatever reason. I know a lot of people don't like him, but when you look at James Harden and when you look at what he's been able to accomplish this year, he is leading the league in assists. This is a guy that led the league in scoring multiple times. That is his second time leading the league in assists. He's one of the most versatile players we've ever seen in the NBA history, in my opinion. So Harden, he made the list, leading the league in assists. Can't overlook that. Plus, he's helping Embiid probably get to his first MVP while also leading Philly to a top 3 seed. Steph Curry almost left him off, but he had to get up on here. The way his team played when he on versus the way they looked when he was off, the numbers he put up this year, and I didn't think he was gonna be able to play enough games to make the list, but he ended up getting past the number that I needed him to get to for my list. So I put Steph Curry on here. Moving on to the forwards, we got Jaylen Brown. I feel like this is well deserved. He's been slept on for a little minute now. Now he's back. You know what I'm saying? He's been slept on. Now he's back getting credit like he was supposed to be. I think he's one beat to Jason Tatum. I think he had them playing good all year. Whenever Tatum didn't show up, Jaylen Brown was right there to step up and do what he needed to do. So for me, he makes the list. And then we got Bam. Hey, Bam had a great season, even though my Heat was up and down and we didn't look that good at certain points throughout the season. Bam was like the one bright spot that we had going. So I feel like he definitely deserves to make this list. He had career year in scoring. His field goal attempts was up. His percentage was up. He rebounded well. He didn't have a good showing other day against Atlanta. I know that, but he had a great season and he needed to. I felt like he deserved to be on here over Jimmy Butler, who we'll get into Jimmy Butler when my guys come on. And last but not least, my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr. gets the last spot. I definitely feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the most slept-on players in the league. I know he foul trouble and all that, but he's literally one of the best rim protectors, if not the best rim protector in the league. What he brings to the table on a night-to-night basis, what he does for that team. And I feel like he's one of the catalysts that when Jai's out or when somebody's out, they can keep rolling because they have that defensive anchor that keeps their team going the way they go. So for me, Jaren Jackson Jr., been very slept on. Hope he's not slept on anymore. And I hope he make this list. That's my all NBA teams. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.